This is a former Wolf and Garden client. He took a year-long mentorship program with me, and well, you just finished it.
Yeah.
And well, how did it go?
It was tough.
How did it start? Let's go from the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning is I felt like blocked in a way that was like very painful for me. Like I couldn't get the connections that I wanted with women. Like I felt like part of me felt like I was dope, and the other part of me like was scared that I wasn't, and getting rejected with women would kind of like feed into like the fear, and I would get stuck, and so I tried a lot of things. Like I tried to like date coaches, and they just suck. It seemed to me like they were just doing this kind of like shotgun approach where they're just getting the balls to like keep asking women out, and just statistically they would eventually, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
I would say, the one that I worked with was like a handsome dude, but like there's something about his energy that came off a little bit like sleazy, and I think that he wasn't like taking the most efficient path to like the most natural path to it.
Yeah. How was I when you first met me? I'm curious. Because it is weird to meet a dating coach. Like, I feel like if I hired a dating coach, I would hate the idea of it because it's just like, I feel like he's a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what did you think when you met me?
Actually, kind of liked you. You just felt like a dork like me.
Yay. I am a dork.
Yeah. And
probably more than you.
And then I saw how, like I think the first time we met, we were like at your, like you invited me to your friend's like birthday dinner or something.
Yeah.
And there was all these like kind of new people, and you were like really social and getting them to like you, and I was just like, whoa, he's like a dork like me. And then, you were just like naturally doing these things that like, you're just kind of like being that dude that's like kind of like one of the center people at a party, you know?
What caused you to call me up?
I hadn't had like sex in 2 years since like I was engaged, that got called off, and like I just had no way to break through the kind of self-consciousness and like being in my head, and like being really like worried about like what is wrong with me and stuff like that. So that's where I was. Like I wasn't like really socializing with women. I would like online date for a bit, but then like it wouldn't work out, and I would just get discouraged and just let it go. So it had been 2 years since I had like really like been on I'd been on like first dates, but like I had never like gotten romantic with a woman for like 2 years. And now it's just kind of like all the little friendships that I made are kind of like just like blowing up, and I'm like
sprouting, expanding.
And I'm kind of like making more friendships, and I'm not worrying about whether they're going to lead to sex right away. They're just like little kind of investments that are like, and now I'm like, oh crap, like there's like now I have new problems where it's just like, that girl wants me, and it's like, oh whoops, like how do I like navigate that and like be like, oh crap, and I get mixed up, like first I make this girl my girlfriend, and then this other girl wants me, and I'm like, oh wait, can I take back making you my girlfriend? And it's just like,
and now how many girls are you dating now?
Like 5. I'm like, so I'm like involved with like 5 girls, and it's exhausting, and
but
like,
the cool thing is, it's almost like you weren't trying.
No, and I don't. I mean, honestly, I imagine that like I would get this, and it would just be like getting like so much excitement and pleasure out of it. But by the time I got to this point, like I really don't. I don't care. It's like it just seems like a very mundane thing.
That's what I told you. Yeah. It's like when before you have this, it's like the nerdiness of being like, oh, it's so amazing to be the ladies' man, and it's like once you get there, it's not cool. It just is. It's just, this is how you live now. That's it. That's how a cool guy is. To make this an exciting thing means that it's inherently a challenge to you, but it's not. It's not a challenge, and because it's not a challenge, it's not cool. It just is. What are some kind of unique points about this program that you weren't expecting, or that kind of were like really like, whoa, this is kind of different?
I think like the reason that I started working with you right away is just because like you finally said, like when I would talk to other date coaches, it just something felt wrong and creepy about it. And I have a lot of like moral and spiritual like like ideas and like kind of ways of living that like I had developed, and like, you know, about like, especially about like that, you know, like the true path to happiness is giving. Yeah. You know, and like when you talk to other date coaches, it sounds more like, you know, you're trying to like do this like battle to like get women to fuck you. And like, I don't know, like, and then what you said was just like, you've got to love the world before it'll love you. You know? And just like, so I don't know, it was all from a good place, and like it all felt like what would really work in the long run, you know, versus like gimmicks and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe, because for me to be like, once again, like when I think of dating coach or anything like that, like pickup artist or anything, I think of the most scummy people on earth. And it's like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, that's my job, you know? But I really believe that's why I am the best, because I'm the only real person like this. I'm the only real dating coach, because, I mean, what universe could I be living in that I have this job? I mean, but I think I do it because I don't know, it is my purpose in life. It's my purpose to teach it the right way, the good way, the real way. And it's basically just loving people, especially women.
Yeah. I think also like the other date coaches put a lot of stuff in my head about women that was really shitty, and it was such a relief that showed me that wasn't true. That women are like looking for the alpha male. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like women want you to like treat them like shit so that they know that you know you're like an alpha male. Yeah. And like, you know, they didn't like, you know, like all these times I'm thinking like, oh, they didn't like me because, you know, you know, I'm not like strong enough, and like it just seems so harsh, and it makes me think that women are harsh. But in reality, they were like, no, they just want a good person, and I'm like constantly thinking selfishly, and that's what all it was the whole time, you know, like it was me and like, you know, my selfish way of thinking that was like just sabotaging myself and reinforcing that thinking.
I think something really important to point out is the fact that, you know, because you're a more chilled out person, you may think, oh, I have to be more energetic, I have to be more kind of crazy and attention getting, and the fact is you don't. Being social, being engaged with your environment, it stays the same whether you are a high energy person or a low energy person. You could grab the attention of a room by just standing still and being calm, and it all depends on the presence that people feel around you, and that is super duper important. And I never ever once wanted to change that inside of you. I know you're a calm person, dude. You're fucking, I mean, you say you're nerdy, but you're cool, like you're chill. I mean, when we were even at the cafe today, we sat down and you didn't do anything, and this gorgeous girl started just, oh, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, blah 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 blah. I mean, you didn't need to do anything to make that happen. And I think that's super duper important that people get confused about. I don't try to change, a good coach does not try to change somebody's personality. It wants to bring that personality's strengths out.
And another thing I would add is that you can be social like an introvert,
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Which is like, for me, like right now, like I throw those board game parties where I just love these like nerdy strategy games, and I find plenty of other people, and in particular plenty of women that'd be interested in somebody like throwing like this like board game party, and it's cool, like you find those people that are like you, and you're the person that's like kind of leading the like social fun.
And the other thing is, it's like, I think a big falsehood that a lot of guys have is like, well, there's not like hot girls in like board game parties, like it's all ugly, nerdy, blah 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 girls. And I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, actually, girls that you're dating are pretty hot.
Actually, I find that like these girls are even hotter than the hot girls. Like finding the girls that are into the same nerdy stuff, and like you'll think that like no, there's not, but yeah, if you're just like a little bit smart about it, like there's lots of them, and you will find them. I don't know. I find them way more attractive. I mean, they're both hot, and they got these cute little glasses on. And they're like all into like graphic novels and stuff like that.
And they're interesting. They have amazing personalities.
Exactly.
And I think another thing to that is like, it's not about trying to mold yourself to somebody else's personality. It's people are always thinking, oh, I want to get the hot girl that I could never get in high school. But it's like, you guys would never connect. There's no reason to. And hot girls aren't only one, it's such a small thinking to think, oh, only hot women have this one type of personality. They don't like this type of stuff. It's not true at all. My friend Dave, he plays Dungeons and Dragons with models all the time. Hi, Dave. I mean, he photographs models, and then he gathers them together for like Dungeons and Dragons parties and board game parties.
That's another thing. Like, I was like stuck in high school where there was like that division, and like now I'm learning that like once people like grow up, like whether they're hot or not, they like want to like explore everything in life, The
way somebody looks, the bone structure is not mixed with a personality type.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's not correlated to their intelligence level, to their interest as a human being.
The way their bones were structured when they were born has nothing to do with their personality.
Anyways,
it's ridiculous.
I'm surprised all the time, but like I'm like a physics major.
Yeah.
And how many
You're a physics doctor.
How many gorgeous supermodel-looking women are like so turned on by physics? It's just,
I remember that. I remember you were like basically, they're not gonna want to talk about physics. I'm like, yeah, they are. And when you started the program with me, give me like a nutshell. What was the first? Let's go in like 3-month nuggets. What was like the first 3 months for you like?
Actually, it was pretty good. Like I felt like I started. Like I was pretty depressed now, like looking back on it, but I started feeling better. Like it was just like very like easy, just go sit at a bar and just enjoy the environment, and and I felt better, just because like after work I wasn't going home and playing video games. I was being out, and pretty regularly I would like just like naturally, without even like thinking about it, just like start a conversation with somebody, wherever I was hanging out at.
Yeah. So like for you, because I could sense how much like social anxiety was at a bar, I thought like the first thing that needs to happen with you is you need to become friends with being out with people. Just being out and being comfortable there, I think was the biggest thing that was the biggest first hump for you to get over, and that's what I just had you plow at, dude. Just plow away at. And then, all right, so was like the next 3 months like?
So the next 3 months was, I just got more able to like talk to people that I don't already know.
Yeah.
And I think I made a huge amount of female friends.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of natural. I wasn't really like, I was not really like being like trying to like force myself into like anxious situations or anything. It was more like internally I developed like so much, like I'd gotten so much in touch with like how much like I just like women as human beings. Yeah. That all of a sudden like I just naturally, without even noticing what I was doing, was like, yeah, man. Hey, what, like, and I was just like making a bunch of female friends. Yeah. And I think also like, then like some of the female friends start turning into more, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's another huge fucking problem for, I think, all men, is they see women as these aliens, and it's like, and when we think of dating, we think, all right, like, let's make this into a sport. How do we get these aliens to like us? Just like weird people that are just awkward and nerdy and whatever we are. How do we get these aliens that are beautiful and all this stuff to like us? And that, I think, for the most part of like dating coaching and all that stuff, is what they try to do. It's like, all right, so how do you get this alien to like you? This is what you do. This is what girls like. And I mean, I looked at that for years and I was just like, something's not right here. And eventually I realized, if you just get to make friends with girls, it's kind of like you sidestep all of that bullshit and be like, oh wait, I just had to, it's like people are like banging at this brick wall and they're just like, wait, I just have to like walk behind the wall? Like that's basically all you have to do. It's like, oh, I just had to make friends with women and then I know how to naturally connect with them. Shit, All right, so then what were the last 6 months like?
Then the last 6 months were like when you started kind of pushing me more. And that was when it got hard. Like up to then it was just like kind of fun, chilling out and like...
I remember this now.
And then the last 6 months it was like, all right, like giving me like exercises like that, walking to I forgot how many, it's like...
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Walking to 20 bars a night and then say,
conditioning.
Start a conversation with the first, like within 5 seconds of walking in.
Yeah.
And then, and then there was like a lot of like fighting myself internally where I'm like, oh, I had gotten to here, and then like if I start feeling like I'm dipping down, then I'll like start like freaking out and be like, oh, I'm losing it. And so
because I was making it harder for you, your ego was like, wait a second. Wait, I thought I was good at this, and now that I'm being put to the test, oh no. That's a big thing about coaching. It's like, I need to feel everything. It's like, where do I allow him to relax? Where do I get him to feel good? Where do now I force him to feel uncomfortable? And I mean, there's such an ebb and flow in coaching. It's not just, go through that. I mean, this is not a cookie cutter thing. I mean, even though I teach the same concepts to everybody, every mentorship is completely different. Everybody has a different thing and I have to teach them differently. All right, so I was kind of getting you into that conditioning where I was really kind of forcing you into things that I knew you were going to be uncomfortable because I wanted you to get to that more advanced notch, the more advanced notch. What about our interaction throughout? Like, how was that?
It was, I mean, like, I felt like you were a good friend, like, right away, yeah, I mean, just like in general, like you ended up being like a big part of my life, a big part of my support system,
Thanks, buddy. I want it to feel like I'm more committed to this than you are. Like, I want to feel like I am almost annoying you with how much I'm there.
That definitely did feel like that.
I want to be so much in your life in this thing that like you will never ever feel at a loss. You'll never have a question that will be unanswered. You'll never be able to, call me and get a voicemail. You'll never be able to text me and not get a response for 24 hours. Like I remember us texting. We will text for hours every day about not just, it's like, what do you text about? Well, it's like, there's so much about this thing up here that we have to work on. And there's so much battle. Like I remember just, working with you on battling what's going on in here and all of the, neediness that was, tied up and bottled up. And it had such tension, and it was connected to such fear in relationships and stuff like that. And it takes a lot of self-work. But man, like without being able to chat about it with somebody who's been through it, it could take years and years and years and years of going, wait, is this the right way? Is this the right way? Going 5 years thinking you're going the right way when you're not going the right way. I mean, another thing I love, because it makes me happy as a coach, but how many things I would tell you throughout the year that you didn't believe, and then months later you're like, oh, that's happening now. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, bitch.
Yeah, that is true.
That makes me feel good.
So yeah, I'm just like adjusting to these, like this new reality, like so many things that I thought were not possible or not like couldn't be like this or like actually are like that.
Man, dude, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah,
love you, buddy. Hug it out. Fuck yeah. All right, let's go get dinner. Food, snacks. Walk.
Yeah,
Cool.
caffeinated beverage.
Great. Thanks, bud.